So I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder right after sixth grade. It was 2011. It is now beginning of 2024. So it's been about 13 years-ish. And I think since then I've come a long, long way. So I want this to be a video that gives hope to the people who have been recently diagnosed, and hopefully even to those who have been dealing with this for a while and just not having that much success yet. There is a way to move forward and do great things with your life despite bipolar. So when I first was diagnosed, like, it was a mess. Even after I knew, I think I was too young. It was middle school. I was too young to really try to control things or like manage them. I wasn't really able to recognize when my moods were changing, and I really didn't like it when people would even talk about it. I didn't want to, I didn't want anybody to know. I didn't want to talk about it with my parents. I really didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I attribute that to like not being accepting of the diagnosis, and also just in general, just kind of being in denial, because I was just like, why me? This can't be happening, sort of thing. But as time went on, I feel like in high school things died down a little bit, mood swing wise. I still had a little bit here and there, but it wasn't nearly as bad as middle school. Um, by senior year, I had reached a weird point where I would like overshare it. And I feel like people didn't necessarily need to hear about all my issues and whatever. But that was like the beginning of me feeling like more comfortable sharing my personal stuff related to bipolar. I still feel like at that point I wasn't like fully like, I don't think I had fully accepted it. I was just wanting to share it more because the next years would be really rough. When I graduated high school and went to college, I had a big manic episode. It was a mess. And ever since then, I've had like run-ins with mania almost every year. Um, but I hope that this big change that I'm having in my life right now won't like bring in another manic episode. That is too soon to tell, but I think right now things are going pretty well. I'm taking these changes a little bit at a time. I moved myself to Minnesota. Things are like looking pretty good mood wise. I won't know for sure until I make the change, because usually that's the thing that kind of throws me for a loop. But I'm hopeful, and this time we took medication changes preemptively to prevent the manic episode that could potentially happen. And as it relates to medications, I have more or less been on medications since the very beginning. There were 2 times that I wasn't really on medications at all, and that was when I went to U of I, which was a really bad time for that. My doctor actually like slowly took me off of Abilify senior year, and by the end he was like, you probably don't even really need it. And then then U of I was like a disaster basically the first time. Oh, and the second time, but the first time was the worst because I had been there for 2 months and I was just struggling on my own. But that was one of the times I wasn't on medications. And then another time, I think later, I just wanted to like see if I would be able to manage things without, which I don't know why I did that, because it was clear when I was without, it did not work out. But in the end of 2018, I was like, I kind of took myself off meds slowly by myself, and then manic episode things happened again. So I think that time I just learned my lesson, and I was like, we're just gonna stick with this. And I think no matter how little I'm on, it still makes a difference. And I, over time, had to accept that taking medications was something that was important to keep stability, at least for now. Um, I think that, like, a lot of people and some parents too, like, they don't want their kid, or you don't want yourself to take medications because, like, there's a stigma around it. There's just like the thing, like the side effects, or just there's so many things circling in your mind that make you not want to start on medications. But I think that it does help in the long run, especially like at the beginning when you're first like experiencing the mood swings with bipolar. Like, you need some kind of like little edge towards stability so that you can like better manage things. I know I have viewers that don't, or that aren't on medications, and they say it's working out for them, but I think there's very few people out there that can go long term without having any medications at all and still be able to manage it on their own. I think that bipolar 2 is a lot easier to get by like that, but bipolar 1, with the psychotic tendencies, and just like if you aren't very strictly on every like self-care thing, you will probably have run-ins with mania. Um I know that for me, when I'm like on medications, like I feel different. I don't feel emotions as strongly, and like sometimes I'll get like really freaked out, like with big changes or stuff like that. Like, that's why I'm so worried about this like move to Minnesota, because I know that in the past when I've moved, it just hasn't worked out for me. But like having the less medications last time, and it's just, I think the medications I'm on now will help me better than the ones that I was on before. I'm taking Abilify right now, and I think that was the best one for me recently. Um, but like I think, okay, the first time I went to U of I and moved out on my own was not great, and I wasn't on medications. And the second time, I think I was on um, Lamictal, and that really wasn't working very well for me either. But this time I think things will be different. So that is just to say that being on medications during big changes and like things that you know are your triggers are kind of important. um but anyway, getting back to the original topic, uh since I was diagnosed, I feel like I've come a long way because I'm able to have some insight into like the way that I react to certain things in certain situations, and I know what things would might make me nervous, and I'm like more self-aware and able to like adjust based on where I believe my moods are. And I also have a great support system. Like, my parents are pretty like supportive when it comes to the bipolar thing, and Nick is as well. And like my whole family, honestly, they like know what's good for me and will be like not pressuring me to do things that will be unhealthy for me in the future. So I think it's really important to surround yourself with people that will try to help you, or like at least not try to put you in situations that are worse for you and your like manic tendencies. But in general, I think that anybody who's diagnosed with bipolar has the potential to really crack down and change the way that they live life. Although it's like really annoying to have to like worry about so many things all at the same time to make sure you're stable and can live a normal life, I think anybody that is diagnosed can do it. It just takes a lot of effort, a lot of support, and it's really hard without medication. So I would suggest trying to get that. And if you have insurance through a job or whatever, it should be a lot cheaper too. So those are my suggestions, and just like I guess a bunch of stories about where I've been in the last 10, 12, whatever years. I forgot what I said. 13. um but yeah. If you made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.